I want to apologize for my comments on Tony Romo. Tony Romo is better than a squirrel with a football. He's not as bad as Blaine Gabbert, because Blaine Gabbert's a mess of a quarterback. If I were to honestly put Tony Romo in a ranking TV top 20 quarterbacks, I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry, Jerry Jones. I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on.
But still, the Cowboys are not going to be any form of a threat this year at all.
No, and I agree. But, well, once again, this is part 2 of our show, dealing with UCLA reception. Not going exactly how we planned it. Not going as we planned it, but we're trying, right? Are we trying or are we not? And yeah, first of all, we apologize for that, and we're gonna keep this thing going. So please excuse that from happening. Once again, we apologize for that. So any last comments as far as
let's talk about the NFC North.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. That's a very good division right there. You have a lot of good teams. I don't know why no one's talking about that. The NFC West could be good, but I don't know. But the North seems strong.
All right, real quickly, the NFC North before we get going to the NBA.
The NFC North, Bears 16-0.
Okay.
I take that
Aaron Rodgers
back.
is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Adrian Peterson, one of the best running backs in the league. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, no, wait, not the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, you have Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, a quarterback.
Listen, Jay Cutler, here's the thing with Jay Cutler. This is a huge year for him. He has no more excuses.
Make or break.
He's got a legitimate offensive line. He's got a very good receiving core, actually, in my opinion. He's got an offensive coach, and he has no more excuses. If he does not perform this year, the Bears need to go out and they need to find a new quarterback, because if he can't perform with a team like this, then he can't perform, period. And I've been very easy on Jay Cutler over the years. I've given him a lot of chances, contrary to what most Chicago fans have done. And this is his last straw. If he doesn't do this, the Bears need to get rid of him and find someone who can play football.
Okay, I just want to say that division contains one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best running backs, one of the best receivers, Brandon Marshall, and it contains the Detroit Lions. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
just kidding.
When you want to talk about best receivers, talk about
Megatron. I was
Megatron.
just saying. Okay. Okay.
All right, we're done with football. Daniel
I
Levy,
lost
Jason Gareline.
We'll be good the rest of the week, I promise.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just UCLA reception. You never know. Coming up next, we got NBA. We got the newbie coming in to talk about that. And then to close it out, we're going to have a debate for the ages on whether or not NASCAR is a sport.
It's not.
You're listening to the National Sports Day 1 Part 2. Stick along with us.
Thank you. Am I in basketball?
Hip-hop vaquero, you want my styles like Hierro, dancing on my words on the edge of sombrero. The gringo, sing flows, yes, the cockatoy. Kill Agnes with a glance from the pupil of annoyed. A mic stored in underwear drawers of my dresser. Rhymes from True God, yours is child of Melissa. A lowercase G hanging under the bar. My G's above and beyond and shining bright from afar like North Star. Guided me to Gibson, the manger, Dr. Stranger. Like Blase Blah, bringing danger. In Phantos of Harmonico sick. Stand tall, surfing ink from Bic. Push the click, now I'm running. Leading down the L-pen shaft. And spin a phonograph to exercise a paragraph. Epitaph from killing off the flesh for 808. A low frequency to give you something to hate. We tie words up tight with lasso. With art from the soul, Pablo Picasso. And paintbrushing my discussion when we touching town sublime with rap flow. We tie words up tight with lasso. With art from the soul, Pablo Picasso. And paintbrushing my discussion when we touching Russian. It's like that though. Yo, I ride upon the trail, my heart's pumping oxygen like Indians and moccasins. I've been cheated and crossed, tossed aside. My tribe's trying to survive, yet the government's rise never came. So I strain to break dance with wolves till the presence action changed. Who shot the sheriff? I'm embarrassed by the trickery. So some come aboard the bandwagon of hickory. My lazy eye gives that warning. Watch your step. My six shooters.
All right, welcome back into National Sports, an affiliate of Spreaker.com. NSports Day 1 Part 2. First show got disconnected, unfortunately. Sorry about that. guarantee you that's not going to happen the rest of the week, but if you're still listening with us, we really appreciate it. We're here live at UCLA. It's National Sports Week. We're all together this week. We have our separate shows going on throughout the year, and it's good to all get together for once. And NBA time, and, Cameron Sadeghi is the NBA. He is the NBA. He talks NBA. He owns talking about the NBA. So I'm going to let him take over this segment right here. Woo! Cameron Sadeghi, talk NBA with us.
All right, so we're going to start off with Greg Oden going to the Pacers. They called it the decision. I meant the Heat, sorry. Scola went to the Pacers. We're going to talk about
He doesn't really know anything about the
Yeah, I actually don't. All right. So Greg Oden to the Heat, rather, making the decision. Everyone making fun of him, talking about his knees. Look, I think this guy could get. He's not going to put up huge numbers, but he could get 10 and 5 a night. All he needs to be is a defensive force for them. Look, he's not going to be a long-term player, but he's going to be what they need for the playoffs. If he's healthy in the playoffs, I think that he can repeat again. If he's not, they're going to really have some trouble against the Pacers. I want to get your thoughts. Let's go, Joe.
Okay, let me say first of all that the Heat aren't looking for that much out of him. They got him on a 2-year veterans minimum. So they're not like they're looking for a lot out of him. I think either you bring him off the bench or you start him and you can move LeBron to the 3. Doesn't really matter. You could probably bring him off the bench easiest. So I think he could be productive. Like you said, 10 and 5 every night. That's all they really need. Because they lacked rebounding the whole season long. They were getting out-rebounded by the worst teams in the league. So they got out-rebounded by the Spurs. They wouldn't have been that close if they wouldn't have got out-rebounded. So I just think not a lot. You can get about 50, 60 games. That's all you really need.
Yeah. I think that he's a traditional Heat player to sign. They do that every year. Mike Miller, Shane Battier, Ray Allen, all old players, but they're productive players. And I think he's young, but he's injured, and I think that he'll come in. I think he'll put up average numbers, and I think it's a good signing.
And then for me, I actually been reading on the Greg Oden thing because Greg Oden had a possibility of coming to Sacramento, so that's why I updated on him. But Greg Oden, he's had a lot of injuries over the years, and I just don't see him coming back as a big player. And he going to the Heat really tells me he just wants to get something big under his belt, say a ring or something. Because of all the injuries that he's had and all the chemistry and stuff that the Heat already had, they won 2 championships back-to-back. The Heat don't really need him. They've got Jones to back up their replacement for Mike Miller. So, in my opinion, Greg Oden's not going to be a big deal in Miami. He'll just put up basic numbers, but I don't see him anything more than that, especially with that veteran 2-year minimum.
I think those small numbers, though, I mean, I know statistically it doesn't look that great on a stat sheet, but I think his presence is really important, just to have a dominant big man, to play solid defense, just to deny the post and make sure they don't get into Hibbert necessarily all the time because, like Shaquille O'Neal said it on TNT, jump hook him to death. That's what Roy Hibbert did. So let's move on to Scola and the Pacers. You know, I think Scola is a great big man. He's a fundamentally sound big man. Playing with that European style, with the jumper, with his post moves, with the passing and the defense. How big of a role do you guys think that Scola is going to have?
I think he'll have a pretty good role. I think the problem is that he's not really the height that you need. I thought he's 6'9", and a half probably, to be nice. And he could come in and be really good, but he could also come in and not get playing time because of his lack of height. And he could get beat down by a lot of really good players.
Well, I don't know about that because I've seen him. He can face up instead of just constantly posting up, so he can drag the big guys out of the paint. So,
the thing he can face up because he's the height of a wing player. He's not a center.
That's true, but I've seen.
He plays a 4.
But they can utilize. They can utilize him in small lineups, so because that's what the Pacers need sometimes against the Heat. Because the Heat like to go small, and sometimes they can't challenge that. At least he can go guard the small guys at the 4.
That's true.
I think also the Pacers are so flexible with they have Danny Granger coming back, so they have probably one of the best starting 5s again. They have a bench, Scola, Watson, Copeland, all good guys. So I think as long as you have a good starting 5 and a bench, they'll be okay. I think they could challenge the Heat, maybe even beat them.
Yeah.
I think for Luis Scola going to the Pacers, it's good. It's a good move for the Pacers because they needed a more big man to be in there now. Just like one of my partners said, Luis Scola isn't the best center. He doesn't fit the height. But I think he will be a good match for the Pacers. He does have the skills that they want out of him in terms of why they traded for him. And now I think I think this move completes the Pacers starting lineup because you've got good guys at every position now. Now they have Luis Scola in there to be a good guy down on the block. So because of that, I think it's a good move on the Pacers' part. And even though the Pacers had to give up a draft pick and player and stuff, I think it's totally going to be worth it in the long run. I still don't see but I do not see Luis Scola doing a very long-term time with the Pacers. I think he's nearing the end of his career, but I think he'll do a good amount the rest of his career.
Let me just say something
real quick.
Off topic. If you haven't seen it, watch the video that the Mavs made for Dwight. It's actually really good. It's actually very good.
I know, right?
By the way, I support what Dwight Howard did, but let's just go to the Central Division real quick. That's another topic for another day. Indiana, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, Cleveland. Detroit really making a lot of big moves with Josh Smith, Jennings, Billups. Indiana, everyone knows that they're going to be really competitive. Chicago, they had all the injuries in the playoffs, but now they have Rose. Is there anyone that can really dethrone Indiana and just take that division over? Do you think even Detroit could maybe win that division?
I think that Detroit could, but it's all about how they gel. I think the only team that you can really say right now that could dethrone them is the Bulls because they're the only team you know that actually can compete. The Bucks can't compete. They've lost a lot of good players. Yeah. Cleveland, they threw in Andrew Bynum. If Andrew Bynum returns to his former self, they could be a great team. And Detroit, I mean, you never know. They're just a bunch of players thrown together.
I think real quick. I think the Central Division has got to be the best. I mean, look and man, Detroit, they're so athletic. Their front line, the Southwest and the West. But I think that the Central Division is so good because Detroit, their front line is so versatile, and they can really run up and down. Same with Indiana. I think they've got so much size, and then Chicago with their defense, and Cleveland, that's kind of a wild card, and they're really a young team. But so Jordan, what about your thoughts?
About Detroit, it's that Josh Smith has played the 4 his whole career.
Yeah.
So playing that 3 against such athletic guys, he's gonna have to be playing against some like Melo, guys who are really athletic. So him playing that hard defensively may take away from his offensive.
Yeah.
But they have so much scoring on the offensive. Brandon Jennings is a lot of scoring.
But he can be wild though because he sometimes takes the game in his home.
I think what they have to do is they have to make sure that Josh Smith plays and takes a certain amount of shots because he was taking a lot of ridiculous shots in Atlanta. And on a team with Brandon Jennings, if you're taking a lot of shots, that's just a mistake. Mm-hmm. And he can't play the 4 on that team because they already have 2 ridiculous. They got the Twin Towers down low, so.
I'll be quite honest. I think that the East has become a lot stronger over this offseason. There's been some good new moves that have really benefited teams like the Nets and the Pistons. Now the Nets, their moves got them some veteran players, but the key is that they are veteran players, so they're only going to be good for a short period of time.
But they have a bench. They have a very good bench.
I think what's
granted too, but again, their starters are older veterans, so I don't think if the Brooklyn Nets are going to win a championship with this lineup, they're going to have to win it within the next few years, or they are going to have to start out fresh, brand new. Detroit also, like you guys have said, has gone very strong, so I think they could probably compete with the Heat too. Indiana's been strong. They've got a lot of good lineups now. But will they be able to dethrone the Miami Heat? I'm not sure. Now, with what you said about the Chicago Bulls, that in a way it's a wild card itself because Derrick Rose is coming back from a season-long injury.
He's ready.
Guys.
He's ready.
He's ready. But we don't know if he's going to be as good as he was before. It's always a wild card when a guy comes back from a
And they're just not as good.
Real quick.
They lost.
Exactly. So it's a wild card.
Real quick.
Okay, real quick. What you said on the East getting stronger, the players they brought into new teams came from the East.
Yeah.
That is
Brandon
true.
Jennings came from the East.
Yeah, but they just made
Josh
some
Ant
teams
came
stronger.
from the East.
Yeah,
So
but-
I think
yeah, but
that
Brooklyn Nets were already strong.
certain teams got stronger, but the East as a conference stayed exactly the
Exactly.
same.
Yeah,
Brooklyn
The West,
wasn't very
Yeah,
strong. They
granted
looked
that,
strong,
but,
I think
there
it was
were
the-
teams that did get stronger
And
in the East.
last
The
thing-
question was, can they compete
last
with
thing,
the
last thing. The Southwest Division. Then we're gonna head
That's
out
a
and
good
give
division.
it. Okay.
The Pelicans.
No,
Watch out
no,
for the Pelicans.
Wait. Real quick. This we're almost.
The
on
Pelicans
wait,
will be a team to
wait,
watch.
Wait. Can I get through this? Southwest, San Antonio, Finals, Memphis. They should have. To me, they did such a great job in the Western Conference Finals. Houston with Howard.
Oh, gosh.
They got such a great dynamic there, and McHale. And then Dallas.
Dallas, no.
New
Dallas on
Orleans.
the
The
decline.
Pelicans can shock a few people here and
Watch
there.
them. They're gonna
Yeah,
be. It's gonna
okay.
be close to watch.
Real quick, who wins the division, and then we're gonna go.
San Antonio still.
San Antonio, but it's
I'll
gonna be
go
close.
San Antonio.
Watch the Pelicans.
They got
It's gonna
veterans
be.
that are
It's
just
gonna
not
be.
tiring down.
I'm gonna go Houston barely,
no.
barely
That's a
though.
close one.
Houston barely. Okay, that's it for us. Let's go to Robert Dieter's real quick. All right, guys. Well, this is gonna be the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for being on, and tonight was just a night where we're gonna be. We just wanted to debut some new guys, see how they would do. And, a pretty good show overall, in my opinion, for coming back for day one. Some old and newcomers. And tomorrow night we'll bring a lot. Big reunion. Everyone will probably be on the show. I'm not going to guarantee everybody. But, me and Cameron so far are here, back, and ready to recruit more and more people. If you guys are interested, please contact me, 650-678-7127. Let me know if you are interested. Thanks, guys, for listening. As, Chris is going to close out the show now. He's back, and we're going to have a big debate tomorrow. Really interesting. So,
Yeah, so,
here's Chris.
We lied to you. We thought the debate was going to be tonight, but
My bad.
but Caroline found a way to mess it up.
Hey. The two guys who wanted to do the debate want to do the sleep. It's getting late here, but we will have that debate tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we'll have plenty of more stuff for you tomorrow.
Brandon Byer and James.
Yeah,
James
we're gonna have
Byer.
we're gonna have more of our analysts here as well. So we're gonna have more MLB talk, NFL talk, NCAA talk. I mean, whatever's going on in sports, you're gonna find it here. Yeah, whatever's going on in sports, you're gonna find it here on National Sports, an affiliate of Spreaker.com. Thanks for listening.